Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Hold That Show. We're live, early afternoon. I don't know why I'm smiling so much because my team let me down, but it's your host, Abdalini, Chelsea fan, and I'll let my co-host introduce himself.
Yeah, man. We'll see we're back live for another good edition. Jam-packed football, entertaining games. The Saturday alone had 25 goals, which is fantastic. After our Boer International Fest, we've been treated to some much Easter treat with the Premier League returning, and I cannot wait to discuss the games because, man, some scrooges, some bants, and a snooze fest. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Well, we'll start off. On a somber, sad note. Actually, no, a happy note. Actually, the only happy note that I can say about my team. On Saturday, Cole Palmer turned up. He scored his 2 goals, Panenka, penalty, and a lovely finish for his second. He said Saka and Foden come outside. They had 24 hours to respond. We haven't seen both. Philippe Foden taken off. Where's my Bakayo? Taken off. And guess what? The statistics say when they play each other, Foden and Saka, no goals. Palmer has scored 3 when they face to face with ice cold, Palmer. Anyway, that's the good stuff. This game against Burnley was a disgrace. First half we played well. We didn't take our chances. We got a bit lucky with the penalty. It was a bit soft, but the defender should have never tackled Mudryk. He was never getting the ball. The ball was about 5-10 yards away from him. I don't know why you're going towards him, not the ball. That's a foolish. You're making these terrible refs make a decision. So we get lucky there. Second yellow sending off, Panenka penalty, brilliant. Then I look at the second half. And I'm thinking, okay, 1-0, 10 men. Let's just get the second goal. We come out like we just been doing up, next things, next drugadinas, fam. Smoking to the most high, because we were lazy, we were slow, and they came at us. Boop, 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 boop. Badow. Man scored his first goal with a scissor ting into the bottom corner. They were playing Barcelona football against us, making us look like we were the relegation side. Okay, after that it's 1-1. 10 men. Try break them down. We're struggling to break them down. We have Conor Gallagher in the 10. My centre backs had more forward passes to the final third than my 10. I was watching this game. This man was just in the way. We were playing with 10 men. It was 10v10 because Conor Gallagher non-existent. Captain Armband for what? He ain't a leader. He ain't a baller, and he's not good enough for my club. But outside of Gusto and Cole Palmer and Petrovic, but he made that one mistake for the second, and we'll talk about that. But the rest of these players, dreadful. The second goal, so easy. Yet again, corners, free kicks, we concede. Petrovic should have done better. He should have just tapped it over the bar. It wouldn't have gone. But then, okay, it's 2-2. And we're just struggling to break down 10 men. And in the end, they nearly scored. If it wasn't for Jay Rodriguez trying to do acrobatics and then keeping it simple, he had an open net. He missed an open net. It would have been 3-2. We would have lost to 10-man Burnley. And the thing about it is, this is another second half where we lost. 1-0 first half, 2-1 to Burnley in the second half. If you look at us this season, and I'm going to get the statistics out, because I've had enough of this, yeah? I'm going to get the statistics out for this. I said in the group, I'm gonna find this because this is worrying, and I want to know what's happening at half time for this to be the thing every time. Where is it? I sent it. Oh, I need to find this. Oh, where is it? Where is it? There it is. There it is. First half for Chelsea, 28 games, 9 wins, 16 draws, 3rd losses, 43 points, 5th in the table. Ahead at halftime, we're ahead of Brighton, we're ahead of Liverpool, we're ahead of Newcastle, we're ahead of Tottenham. Only 4 teams better off us than in the first half, and 2 of them played 1 more game than us. And if we just win, if we're winning at halftime, we're better than West Ham. We're top 4. Top 4 Champions League spots in the first half. Second half though, 1-7, drawn 6, lost 15. 18th on the table in the second half when it comes to statistically. The last 45, where managers are meant to be doing their job, making the right subs, making the right tactical decisions, telling the players what to do at half time, telling them to go out there, keep control of the ball, keep calm and get the second goal. Now, if yesterday was a one-off, if Saturday was a one-off game, I would be more onto the players, and to be honest, they were dreadful. But once, that's a problem. Again and again and again, that's a systemic issue from the top. Now, we can blame the young players for having an experience, but who's there to guide them? Who's there to guide them? Is it Raheem Sterling? Because all I saw was a bunch of Raheem Sterlingness on that pitch. Bare shooting and no passing. How many moments? Me and Luke watched the game. How many moments did we see? Just square it, 2-0. Square it, 3-1. But these men want to just rash shot. So they're not learning from Sterling. They say, oh, it's okay for him to do it, we'll do it too. Defense, who they learning from? Old man Silva. Man's on the beach. He's thinking about his trip back to Brazil. He's dreaming about Brazil. You know? Man wants to be in the next Fast and Furious film in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? Fast and Furious Brazil version. That's what he wants. Living La Vida Loca in Latino land, fam. He ain't thinking about football. And who else? Who's the other leader? Ben Chilwell. Man just came off a disaster class in England and is injured for this game. He wasn't available. So what is he gonna do? England fans telling Chelsea fans that Ben Chilwell and Conor Gallagher are good, but when they played for you, you found the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth is this manager needs to go. Now there's rumours players are saying to the owners that this manager has to go, and I hope it's true. You know, but the internet, it can lie at times. But if these players have anything about them, they will look at these statistics and they'll look at this manager and say, show this. He has no aura. He has no confidence. He's making up bare excuses. Man's talking about XG and that on press conferences. So talking about statistically, we should be top 4. I'm looking at the table. We're 11th. If we won the game, we would have moved to 10th. But we drew to relegation Burnley. 10 men, second half, and they scored more than us. I'm tired of talking about my club. For the rest of the season, I ain't watching my team. I'm just checking highlights and Match of the Day. I'm done with this. It's hella stress. After some of the football I watched this weekend, I'm watching other games because it's enjoyable when it's not your team. Because the other games we'll talk about later on, when it's madness is going on, it's enjoyable. But when it's my team, it's long. Tired of being emotionally invested in this rubbish. I'll come back when Pochettino leaves. That's the statement I'm making today. Highlights only. So you're not gonna get the full details of what happened throughout the match and all this and that. No, you're just gonna get Chelsea drew. Oh, cool. Chelsea won. Oh, nice. Oh, we got our 40 points. Game over. We're already safe in the league. FA Cup is gone. Haaland's gonna activate Super Serum mode, and he's gonna bend over Poch and say, "Who's your daddy?" and he's gonna say, "Sorry, Haaland. Sorry, Haaland. We ain't got Saliba and Gabriel at the back. We ain't got that." So yeah, long day, long season, back-to-back seasons of absolute rubbish. Every fan that's wearing those shirts that say if Conor Gallagher leaves, we riot. Go support Tottenham, because that's where he should be going, to that loser club. Go North London and support one of them teams there that lose all the time, because you're a loser like him. Conor Gallagher, loser. Pochettino, loser. Anything in North London, losers. And any fan that wants Poch around and wants Gallagher around and wants Ben Chilwell around, take your L and go to some other team. Go Championship, go League One, go Bundesliga, go League One, go Brasilia, go Argentina, go China, go to the Chinese League. Hell, you can watch the Saudi Pro League, support Ronaldo and them, man. Don't support my club. This is a winners club. Winners only. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. If you want to add bits and bobs to that, and then we can move on, because the more I talk about this, the more I'm gonna break my fast, and I'm trying to keep it PG. I'm trying to keep it peaceful around here. Anyway, that's all I gotta say.
I mean, when you're at home, you, you need to be showing some sort of winner's mentality. You're playing at home in Stamford Bridge. You need to be showing why you're the best team, why you've been the best team in the last 20 odd years, and why Burnley is in the position that they're in, scrapping, losing 24/7. For me, it just looked like Burnley wanted it more. They were more hungry. That's how it looked. And going into the second half, like, that was the case. They were more hungry. They didn't look like they were down to 10 men. If anything, them going down to 10 men made them look even better. They were more solidified. Defensively, they were on point. They were structured throughout the whole pitch. Attacking wise, they knew what to do on their counter. They knew how to pass the ball about in possession. Odegaard was flying, causing hella problems to your guys. Like, Burnley were on fire. And again, that's another reason why I like the style that Vincent Kompany is adopting in this team, because you're down to 10 men and it doesn't matter. Like, he's still going with his same ideology, his same style of play. He's still playing expansive football, attractive football, and I like that. And I know that when they do go down, it's only going to be a click of a finger and then someone's going to go after him. If Brighton end up losing De Zerbi, then look at Vincent Kompany, and he'll still keep that same core of footballing intelligence that these guys are playing at Brighton. He'll probably enhance it to another new level. The guy knows what he's doing, and I rate it entirely. And given the fact that Pochettino's been around the block for years, you're letting my man school you like that with 10 men is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. To go in the first half in a winning commanded position. Yes, Burnley did pose a bit of a threat in the first half, but going into the second half, you're 1-0 ahead, you're at home, the fans are on your back, the fans are on Burnley's back as well. Like, you should be able to go into this second half and kill the game. But that wasn't the case. You gave Burnley the confidence more and more and more. Defenders were ball watching. They were sitting deep. They didn't want to go and press high up the pitch. For the corner, everyone was ball watching. There was 5 mans on that Burnley guy, and he still managed to score. 5 players around him, and he still managed to score. That's terrible, terrible. And the chance for Sterling to win it as well. Like 10 minutes from the death, he had the opportunity to win it, and he headed the ball wide. You should be hitting a target, especially when it looked like it was an open goal as well. But Sterling doing what Sterling does and not doing what he needs to do as a 29-year-old, as a potential leader, he was not leading from the front. And yet again, you have to rely on Cole Palmer, who's 19, 20 years old, to carry you out from the losing position and get you a draw. That should not be happening. And there lies the issue that we have at Chelsea. Whereas the leaders who are supposed to be leading are not, because they're on the decline, and the young G's are stepping up to try and win a game, but that shouldn't be the case. No one's playing for each other. There's too many individualisms in that team. It's exactly like Manchester United. Too many individualisms in the team, which is why they're not gelling, which is why they're not doing well. Alternatively, we're seeing the style of play that Pochettino wants to play at Chelsea, but ultimately it's just not working. It's not working. It isn't. CDM should be able to control and boss a midfield. You can't be letting Burnley come to your gaff and ball play you off the park like that. That's just not how it runs. That shouldn't be going on. Your CDM should be clamping these Burnley players. Caicedo, Enzo, clamping. Conor Gallagher, pressing from the front, aggressive. Like, it's really not working. And yes, something does need to happen. A change needs to happen. Players need to go. Gallagher in the 10 again doesn't make sense. He's offering nothing in that position. Put in Cole Palmer in his natural position with Madueke on the right. As I said, Mudryk on the left, still staying there. Like, that's how it should be. Conor Gallagher should not be there. When Sterling came on, he didn't even do anything. He didn't even pose a threat. He didn't pose a threat at all. It's just worrying. It's actually worrying to see a team that had so much potential within this season to be declining the way that they are is very concerning. And it just goes to show that bringing in a player like Cole Palmer was a blessing in disguise, because as I said before, he's a player that Pochettino didn't want. So imagine if you guys didn't bring in Cole Palmer, you guys would be dropping further and further down the table, because he's the reason why you're in the position that you are right now in the table. So hindsight is a beautiful thing, because a player that you didn't think you needed actually is the player that you do need, because as I said, he's keeping you afloat in the table. But right now, you need to get rid of this manager, honestly. You do. Because ultimately, yes, you're doing well in the first half, but the second half is what counts. If you can't finish a team in the first half by 3 goals, then the second half is what counts. The second half is how you bury a team, ice the team out so that you're ready for the next game. Substitute players out of the game so that they're ready to get the rest, kick on, move on to the next game, boom, do the same thing again. Second half, you guys are deteriorating. So clearly, my man's saying something negative that's causing these men to be complacent. That's causing these men to not be switched on. That's causing these men to not play like a team. So something needs to happen. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where the breakdown is. Well, we do know where the breakdown is, but I just don't know what's going on with this team. And yeah, he definitely needs to go, because it's just embarrassing. And as I said, he's been a student of the game for years, so to be moving like this is a bit mad. That you would associate this type of performances, this type of situation at Manchester United, but coincidentally, Manchester United is above you guys for whatever fluky reason. So yeah, things got to change. He needs to change, and hopefully things does, because for the respectability of this league, we need the best teams to be firing from all cylinders and performing. The Manchester Uniteds, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, Liverpool, Cities, probably even Tottenham. Like, we need these teams to be firing from all cylinders and get back to where they need to, because I need a league that's competitive. I need a league that's challenging. I need entertaining games. And we're not getting that, because certain teams and certain managers are just holding teams back. So yeah, a change needs to be made, and it needs to be made very fast.
Yeah. Also, second thing that one last thing I didn't say about the second half. Um, Company got sent off, so he wasn't even in the dugout for the second half. You know who it was? Craig Bellamy. Craig Bellamy in the dugout, out tacticoed Pochettino in the second half. Get rid of him. Anyway, we move on to the title picture. As the title says, title decider Borefest, but we'll talk about that after this game. Next game is Liverpool Brighton. I'm just gonna do a quick on what I thought about the game. Personally, I just felt like throughout that game, Liverpool just didn't finish their dinner. Um, Luckily they did make the two chances. Obviously, Brighton scored very early. It was really early. It was just out of blue, to be honest. A wonderful strike by Welbeck, but Liverpool did enough to come back into the game, get their two goals. But I just think throughout the game they just didn't take their chances. They were very, I don't know if it's lazy or just very inconsistent. And I think Salah was not on his firing best either, because a lot of the times when he got into good positions or when Diaz got into good positions, they made the wrong decision when it came to the final third. They did everything up to the final third and then made the wrong decision. Didn't pass the right way, didn't shoot the right way. And for Liverpool, they're just thankful that they got through the game. It's a team that they struggle against in Brighton. Brighton did try and compete with them, but Brighton just didn't have enough for Liverpool. And another 3 points, top of the table. But Luca Donis, go in more depth about your team and the game and how you felt throughout that game.
I mean, there were good points and there were bad points. So the bad points is I was sick and tired of seeing Connor Bradley bombing forward the way that he did, leaving that right hand side exposed and causing Adingra to give him hell on that right hand side, but also Jarrell Kwanzaa as well. The reason why Conor Gallagher is allowed to bomb forward is because he's got the athleticism, the IQ awareness, and the speed of Konate covering him. So that right hand side is never really an issue, because when you've got the ability of Konate there, you're cool, you're calm. Now, Konate wasn't available, but Jarrell Kwanzaa is, and as good as Jarrell Kwanzaa is, he's not Konate. So it happened the first time, okay, cool. It happened the second time, okay, cool. The third time, you need to have the defensive IQ and just common sense to just be like, you know what? Let me not leave this right hand side too exposed, because there was too many incidences where Adingra beat man and was close to scoring or even assisting, and I'd be sitting here fuming at the fact that that small window would have caused a huge issue, and it was causing a huge issue with us. And Conor Bradley didn't have the common sense to just be like, you know what? Let me just sit back and not push on too much. I understand it's a system thing and Klopp wants inverted fullbacks. That's fine, and I get that. When it works, you're a hero. When it doesn't work, you're a liability. And in that situation, against the pace of Adingra, you need to have the wherewithal and know-how to just be like, you know what, Klopp, I see this is an issue. I'm not going to invert. I'm going to sit back, and when I have the opportunity to invert, I'll do it. But throughout the game, I'm just going to sit back and offer that support to allow Jarrell Kwanzaa to just focus on his the middle, what's in front of him. And that was my biggest issue in that game. Because it was an alarming situation that everybody can see, but Conor Bradley just ignored it just for the sake of the system to continue on playing his inverted style, and I didn't agree with that, and that's what pissed me off, is that I love Klopp and I like what he's doing. I like the development within the players. I like the system, how we play. It's just non-stop total football, and every single game we're always getting 30 shots, which is great. It goes to show how attacking we have been this season over any season. However, you need to understand that when you're up against a threat of the likes of a Doku, of the likes of a Dingra, like these guys who are just pace, Mudrich, Gabriel Martinelli, these pacey guys who are technically good and can cause a problem in an open space, you need to be able to advise your fullbacks to just sit back and not always bomb. Allow your midfielders to be the creative guys, not your fullbacks. And I think that's the one issue that I'm actually not gonna miss when Klopp leaves, because the new manager coming in, he's not gonna advise his fullbacks to do that. And even if he does, he'll probably switch to a three at the back, will allow a lot more defensive stability. So for me, that's the one thing that I'm happy that Klopp is leaving about, because of that. Because he's not willing to adapt and change when it comes to specific opponents. It's just his stubbornness. And that's the one thing that I didn't like about the game. Now, the positives, again, Van Dijk showing how solid he is and showing why he should be player of the season and potentially Ballon d'Or winner if he goes on to win anything. McAllister has been so underrated this season, and I was fuming that he was playing CDM because his potential was so much better playing in an 8. And now that Endo is there, it's allowed the adaptability and the flexibility of him to push a bit more, but be that double pivot with Endo. And then when we're without the ball, he becomes a double pivot. When he has the ball, he pushes further forward to be that 8 and pushes further forward, and I like that. I like what he's doing. I like the fact that we've got him for 35 mil, because now every single game is looking like an absolute steal of a bargain, and probably a bargain of the season. He's been so amazing when it comes to the final third in picking up the final balls, the passes that most men don't see. You know, we saw it against Brighton this game, how great he is in just picking up those passes, those movements that the wide men or Nunes is trying to occupy in the channels. It's just amazing. You know, there's not enough credit that goes out to this guy. And if we do go on to win the league, it is legitimately because of him. And I think the injury that he sustained 5 weeks ago, um, or before Endo went on international duty, and then when McAllister came back, I think that has been a breath of fresh air for McAllister, because it's allowed Klopp to now focus on, okay, let's shift McAllister in that 8 and allow him to flourish. And I think by us doing that has potentially isolated Slobosly, because now Slobosly, we're not getting the best out of him right now, because McAllister's been on the ball for so long, because he's the one dictating play. Slobosly is sort of out of position, and we're not getting the best out of him. So I think that's another situation that needs to be resolved when the new manager comes in. Is McAllister going to be the main creative guy, or will he just be a ball player and allow Slobosly to be that number 10, to be the creative individual? That is what is going to need to be resolved when the new manager comes in, because we're not getting the best out of Slobosly. We're not seeing the best out of him right now. If anything, he's becoming more of a Henderson in the regards of being a press merchant, getting his stamina and his hard working ability in matches. Yes, he's pressing and he's doing all of those hard work things that Klopp likes, but I want my number 10s to be creative. I want my number 10s to be scoring goals, and he's just not doing that right now. So yeah, that's the situation that I want to see addressed. But ultimately, yeah, it's the same old story with Liverpool. You know, we come back from behind, and in most cases, when teams are 1-0 down and they come back from behind, we always say that, oh, you know, it's a sign of a winning mentality. But then we always say, how many times can a team actually sustain that run? Liverpool's probably been doing that in every single game. It's actually scary, like that we go behind 1-0 and we're still grinding out wins and winning. Runs like this It's not sustainable, but Liverpool are doing it. If you look at the statistic in terms of how much points we've accumulated from losing positions, I'm pretty sure it was between 20 to 30 something points that we've accumulated from losing positions. That goes to show, yes, it goes to show the complacency side of things, but it also goes to show how much of a mentality monster we are, that we can still go on and not be scared that we've gone 1-0 down, that we can still overturn it and go on to win a game. And that's what I'm proud of my team about, the mentality, the way that we're going into these games. We're wrapping 20, 30 shots and we're coming out winners. I want my team to be more clinical. That's what I want my team to be. Yes, these shots on target is great. The amount of shots that we're doing is great, but I need my team to be clinical, because when we're looking at the potential run-ins, goal difference could be a very big factor. And right now, I believe Arsenal is probably top on the list in terms of goal difference. So we need to be scoring goals. We need to be icing teams 4-5-0. And that is the one negative that I would take away from this game, is that every single game that Liverpool play, yes, they're playing attractive football and it's brilliant football that we're playing, but we're not taking our chances, and that is an alarming situation, because when it comes to the last final 4 to 5 games, that could be the decisive moment in, as I said, goal difference, or it's 1-1 and it's the last 5 minutes. Can Liverpool wrap it up and get some more goals in without compromising their defense, because it's a high line? And and that's what's scary about Liverpool, is we're very unpredictable, and the unpredictability is good, but it also can be a detriment as well, because we're not finishing games, we're not killing teams off, and it's giving the other teams confidence that they can come back and win, especially when we're playing at high line as well. It is scary. So as great as the performance was and has been in the last, I don't know how long since we've been in this title picture running, it is scary, because Liverpool could be one defeat away from dropping out of the title race, just because we're not finishing games off quick enough. So, yeah, I was happy about the performance, but as I said, there was a bit of negatives there that I don't like. But again, this is Liverpool, man. We do things the hard way. That's always been in our nature. And sit back and enjoy the ride, because this title race is obviously going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, it is, and it's just, I think for the rest of the season, it's just win game anyway, how any. It's not really about the football. It's just about getting the results, and I think that's what Liverpool are doing, and I think that's what puts you on over a team like Arsenal in terms of getting results, and maybe even Man City still having a chance, because you two are teams that can go on these long runs of wins, of just straight wins. And I think towards the end of the season, a draw is going to feel like a loss in this title race. And speaking of draws and title races and Borefests, let me know when you're back. Um, we move on. Now we did a special about International Borefest last week, and now we're into another Borefest. Now, for you internet tacticos and whatnot, talking about masterclass, this and that, in regards to Man City Arsenal. For me, it was a basic Jose Mourinho style. We ain't losing the game for Arsenal. The defense was outstanding. The defense was outstanding, and personally, I think when it comes to the game, that's what the main thing was about. It was just two great teams defensively, but nothing much else apart from that. I don't think Arsenal really attacked well. I don't think City had many chances, and I feel like both of the teams were just, especially on Arsenal side, they just wanted the draw. And for me, it shows that Man City aren't the same team they used to be. because they didn't really unlock them. They didn't really create enough chances. They only had one shot on target the whole game, and they kind of isolated Haaland as well. And for me personally, I believe that when it comes to City, they don't play to Haaland's strengths, which allows him to have bad game after bad game and to be told, oh, he played like a championship player, but you're not playing to him. Haaland is a focal point. He's a traditional number 9. You have to whip in balls. You have to get him in behind. He ain't doing no tiki taka. You need to either whip it into him from the cross or getting him in behind. And they weren't leaving any spaces in behind. So what do you do in that type of game? You go wide. And City didn't do that enough. They were a bit better when Doku and Grealish came on, but not enough. They didn't have enough PMP on both wings to get in behind, to whip in crosses. Doku didn't do enough. It was a lot of regurgitating the ball, passing it back, that and that again. Oh, you're back. And it was a lot of that. And for me, it just makes a very boring, stale game because you know what Arsenal want. They just want to get out of there with the draw, the point. But the fact of the matter is, this is one of the weakest City sides we've seen in a while. Because one, they've got a bunch of injuries. Two, a couple of their players are coming back from injury, so they're not fully fit. Looking at a team without Stones. Looking at a team without a fully fit Grealish. Looking at a team where Foden wasn't playing well. Haaland wasn't at point. De Bruyne doesn't look back to his firing self. And then you're just looking at Arsenal just defending. And for me, their attack was non-existent. Havertz, I didn't see him. Jesus, did not see him most of the game. Was not passing Saka. Where was he? Don't know. Midfield was a bit of a battle, but I felt like City controlled the game for most of the game in terms of the passing. They retained the ball well. They just didn't make anything of it. And yeah, it just was, for me, it just was a Jose Mourinho versus prime Wenger game in terms of the boring ones. When Chelsea Arsenal back in the day was boring, where Arsenal wanted to pass their way into the net, and Chelsea knew that, and they just defended. And that's what I'm more disappointed with Man City at, is the fact that they were trying to pass it into the net. They weren't taking no shots from outside of the box. They weren't trying to trouble Ray at all. And for me, that doesn't make sense. When you know you can't go through the middle, you have two options. You either go wide, or when you get to within 30 yards, you just smack it. Keep smacking shots. Because what happens is you get a couple deflections, you get a lucky, and then it comes 1-0, and then the other team has to attack. That's what City needed. They needed a goal early on for Arsenal to come out their shell, but they didn't. And reality was, it was a very boring game. I'm pretty sure I took a nap halfway through the second half. I woke back up, and same things were happening. Grealish doesn't look it. Doku just nothing. And you didn't get him in behind enough times, and when you did, the pass was overhit. So yeah, and also the thing about Doku is his decision making is so bad. When he does get in good positions, he makes the wrong choice every time. Like pretty much every time, and he needs to work on that. But Luke, did you watch the game, and do you have anything to say about the game? Because yeah, man, I'm just
Yeah,
feeling sleepy talking about it.
yeah. I'll dissect both teams in it individually. So we'll start off with Arsenal. I'm sick and tired of these fans, and this is why nobody wants Arsenal to win the league. Number one, how you celebrating a draw. That's an embarrassment in itself. And people could say, yeah, but we're going into the Etihad. Who gets a win there? Blah de blah. A point means everything. No, it doesn't. A win means everything. Why do you think most realistic Liverpool fans, and I say most because there's some Liverpool fans that have that exact same mentality. That's why most Liverpool fans fume when we drop points, when it's a draw. We want W's. We want 3 points. Because 3 points is a difference maker that when you look back at that title race, when it's May 14th or May 29th or May 25th, whenever the last game is, that we always look back that points were dropped because of this draw. That we could have turned that draw into 3 points. How are you celebrating a draw? Why? Because you got slapped by them last season. That now, oh, it's progression because you got a draw at the Etihad. That's an embarrassment, and it just goes to show you the mentality of these Arsenal fans, and it goes to show you the mentality of the Arsenal team. You're not ready to be in the league title picture. You're not, because if you're celebrating that, you're not ready at all, and the performance showed it. There's a reason why everybody were after that game. There's a reason why everybody was raving, ranting and raving, saying, "Oh, Klopp leaving is bad for the league." Because whenever Liverpool and City battle each other, they always go for it. Whether it's at Anfield, whether it's at the Etihad, whether it's a win, loss, or draw, we always go for it. Because number one, it's good for the neutrals, but number two, nobody wants to be sitting down a Borefest defending throughout a whole 90 minutes. You're here to win a game. They understand the importance of a title race. Someone needs to be a definitive winner. They understand it. They know what the assignment is. But you, man, going away from home, just defending. Like, what? Even when you had the opportunity to attack and counter-attack, you didn't even take it. Gabriel Martinelli, taxes on your head because you should have squared it.
You mean
No,
Jesus?
it was Leon Trossard. It was Trossard. It was Trossard that was in that position. He should have squared it. He
Martinelli's
should have
injured.
squared it to Martinelli. Like in those positions, you need to make the right moments, the right decisions, especially if you're defending throughout the whole game. You need to make the right decision and capitalize. And they didn't do it. And they're celebrating a draw. It's an embarrassment. How are you proud of that team performance? Why? Because you defended throughout the whole game. There's nothing to be proud of because ultimately you need to be defending anyway. That's part of your job. You know what you have to do when you come up against City. City's going to be ball retention all throughout the whole game, trying to tire you out, trying to find positions, trying to find openings. So we know what City's going to do. So you having to defend throughout that whole game is your job. That's what you're supposed to do. So why are you clapping that? Why are you saying that was an amazing performance? Arteta out here saying, "Oh, that was a great game." Are you guys all right? Are you guys all right? That was a shocking game, an embarrassment of an actual title decider game. That was an embarrassment. It's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace to the title picture. Absolute disgrace. And Arsenal think that they're ready. I hope you get slapped by Leverkusen, not by Leverkusen, by Munich. I hope you get slapped by Bayern Munich because what I just watched was a disgrace. And I know Harry Kane is charging in a hyperbolic time chamber, getting ready to pepper you, man, because you man deserve to get slapped. That was just a disgrace. Where was Bukayo? Where was Odegaard? All you man out here, yeah, saying that Odegaard and Bukayo Saka is world class, trying to match him numbers to Mohamed Salah, when Mohamed Salah was out here trying to get match winners against Brighton, and Bukayo wasn't even doing anything, bare non-existent. These guys are meant to be your world class ballers. These guys are meant to be turning up for your team to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and win, and they were non-existent again. They're not world class. They're good players, but they're not world class. They're not. It's an embarrassment. And then Man City, you guys are at home. At home. You man should be dominating, absolutely sexing this Arsenal team. You should be. But no, rinse and repeat. Same and same again. Throughout the whole match, I'm sure I was shouting, boring, boring, like I was in a WWE arena. That was terrible, bro. Terrible. It was a boo fest. Absolute boo fest. And then for Roy Keane to turn around and say, "Oh, Haaland is a League Two player." No. You're disrespecting, man. The only reason why you're saying that is because you don't rate man's dad. That's why you're gunning on man like that. But you know damn well that Haaland isn't a League Two player. He's a lethal killer. But Margie's right. They weren't playing to his strengths. Yeah, Haaland needs to work on certain aspects of his game. He doesn't know how to do link up play. He doesn't know how to hold up the ball. For 6'5" brother with strength, he needs to know how to hold up the ball well and use his strength to link people up. He doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
That's an area that he needs to work on. If you're going to be playing in this Barcelona, if you're going to be playing in this Man City style, you need to be able to link up plays. People like Roberto Firmino, Aguero, these men know how to come deep and start attacks and bomb forward. That's why they were so great at Liverpool and Manchester City, because they started initial attacks, and then by the time the attacks got into the final third, they were already in the box waiting to receive that pass. But Haaland isn't like that. He spends all of his time on the offside trap, waiting to receive a ball through the lines or over the top, and the ball just doesn't come to him because he's just waiting. And when the ball does, you're expecting him to deliver, but he can't because he spent so long walking around that his reactions is going to be slow because he's not ready for it.
Yeah.
That's the problem at Man City. They're not playing to his strengths. Haaland is better at Liverpool, where we whip those balls in, where we play those final balls in trying to beat the lines. At Chelsea, where Chelsea is an aggressive team, he's better at these teams than he is at Man City. Man City should have went for the likes of a Dybala or a Ollie Watkins or a Ivan Toney. These men that know how to link up play, hold up the ball, bring people in through the channels. They're not doing it. So that's why you're gonna get a Haaland that's non-existent. And I'm sick and tired of people say Saliba and Gabriel locked down flipping Haaland. No, he didn't. No, they didn't. Because Man City wasn't feeding, man. They weren't feeding, man. So how does that equate to them, man, locking him down? It's not like when they went to Liverpool or when they went to Chelsea. That was a proper lockdown service because there was balls flying in behind both teams. And Liverpool, Van Dijk and Joel Kwanzaa or Konate lockdown. At Chelsea, lockdown. That is a lockdown performance. What was Saliba and Gabriel doing throughout that whole game? Just defending. That's all they did. How is that a pocket? That's not a pocket at all. Haaland didn't receive no service. Honestly, bruv, I'm sick and tired of these flipping GNA man them, these statistic man them that's on Twitter that don't actually know football, that don't watch football properly, and they gas up the thing thinking that Saliba was world class. How? How was he world class in that match? Nothing even happened in that game. So how does that warrant him being a, a man of the match performance? How? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, Gabriel did more anyway. Gabriel was fighting Haaland more than Saliba. Saliba was just there.
See, like bruv, this is why, for me, this whole game was meant to be a statement. I said it in the last pod, the previous pod after that, previous pod after that. If Arsenal had won this game, I'd say they're title winners. Because from a top six perspective on a head-to-head, Arsenal's won the most out of in terms of head-to-heads with the top six. They've got the most results. So I would have said they would have won that. They would have won the league 100%. There's no denying that and disputing that. People might agree with me just because of how Liverpool has been performing, but from a head-to-head perspective, I'd give Arsenal the race because we haven't beaten Arsenal. Now, that match was a Borefest. It didn't showcase Arsenal's title credentials. All it showcased was Arsenal just defended well. It didn't showcase their attacking ability because they didn't know what to do when they got into that position. And then from a Man City perspective, it showed how weak they are looking this season. It showed the decline of Kevin De Bruyne. It showed the lack of the weaknesses of Haaland. It showed the lack of wide play that they had in Man City. It just showed a hell of a lot. So, with that being said, Liverpool should be winning this league because
Yeah, that's right.
the only weaknesses that Liverpool are possessing out of all three
Talk
teams
that
right now,
talk.
is that we're not finishing our dinner. That's the only thing. Defensively, we're good. Right now, Liverpool shouldn't even be in a conversation because we don't have Allison. We have our number two. But right now, our number two is moving like he is Allison. Our defense is much better. Our midfield is more organized and creative. Our attackers are doing well. They're not doing well from an output perspective, but they're still getting in positions and they're doing well. So theoretically, everything is leading to us winning this league if we manage to finish these chances because we know the refs aren't on our side. We know it. You can look no further than that Brighton game when McAllister got a yellow, and McAllister didn't even touch man. A man dived, but he still got a yellow card. So we
Wait.
know the refs are gonna be against us. We know this. We've been seeing this season, but we shouldn't let this be a reason why we don't win the league. Why we should be winning the league is by us converting our chances because these two teams, that performance there is not it. Is not it, and it's not title worthy teams right there. So we need to go on that run right now because that performance, them man were giving us international friendlies. I thought Gareth Southgate was in the audience because that right there, that was shocking. I don't ever want to see that type of match again. I don't. I really don't want to see that because that was shocking. And Pep Guardiola, my last point to you, you getting on to Jack Grealish the way that you did, you need to stop this. You need to stop this performative act because it's an embarrassment. Like Richard Key says, save that for the dressing room. You don't need to do that on a pitch and let everybody see what you're doing because you're embarrassing the player. Embarrassing the player. You did that to Raheem Sterling. What happened? He ended up leaving. You did that to Leroy Sané. What happened? He ended up leaving. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Grealish ends up leaving. Like, you need to stop doing this, bro. Like, it's too much of a performative act. We know that you're a decent manager. We know that you're world class. We know what you want your players to do. You don't need to embarrass man on the pitch because it's a disgrace. And that's why people don't like you, bruv. Bloody match, and that's why we get onto Arsenal fans as well about getting flipping talk about that was a world class performance. Yeah, yeah, a draw. Yeah, we got a point
Yeah.
at the Etihad. Yeah,
Double
come
man.
out here, man. Disgrace, bro.
Bow.
Can't stand their fan base.
Mm,
Anyway, let's talk about the best match of the weekend,
yeah.
Newcastle versus West Ham, because I want to talk about that. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, we got two more games that we're gonna talk about. One because of how great a game it was, and one because it's just we want to laugh at at Man United. But first, we'll talk the talk now. Newcastle West Ham was a game that had European implications. Both teams are going for European spots. Both teams are fighting for sign, and this game they were fighting. Now, full disclosure, we came in at half time, so we didn't even see the madness in the first half. But what happened? And I only watched a little bit of the end of the first half, so I saw the controversy that came into the second half. I'm talking about man getting hit on the face and the ref not calling it for West Ham's second goal. Then West Ham they get their third, and then David Moyes, you got murder on your mind, murder on your head. Because man brought in Yorkshire Perlo. And, and this was the greatest performance by a player that I ever seen in my life. Two passes in 30 minutes, one penalty given away, and a couple not nice things towards his fans on the way home. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. But talk about a capitulation, talk about a match, end to end stuff. Both teams going tongue for tongue, shot for shot. But Calvin Phillips was the difference maker now. The first half, nice early penalty for Newcastle, and then West Ham come 1-2-3. But then Calvin Phillips turns up and he says, you know what? Gordon just gets right in above him and he goes, bow! Get this leaf of the beat. Bow! Bow, you don't know about me. Bow. Man, people were talking about, oh, it's not a penalty. Man kicks off his leg. Anthony Gordon, you know what you were doing. Man was doing pirouettes in the air like it was ballet.
The man did the spin a Rooney on the floor, fam.
Yeah, five times, five times spinning. But you know what? I would say this about Isaac. Cool as you like penalties. Thank you for the FPL points. And then from then, Newcastle and West Ham were just going ton for ton, and then they score again. They score again, and you know what? The two things that made the difference was that Newcastle put on and Eddie Howe brought on Harvey Barnes, who was a difference maker, and West Ham. You know what their reply was? Not the fact that they took Anthony off for Calvin Phillips, who had a disaster class. Their man put on Brendan Johnson, a right back, and played him left wing again. Pretty sure they did this before. The man said remix. The man said, "Yeah, we got Yorkshire Polo. We got right back, left wing. We gotta do this." But I've never seen a capitulation and a half in my life. And Harvey Barnes, he came to play, especially with that last goal. And the funny thing is, to top it all off, to end the game, Anthony Gordon got sent off. And the funny thing is, in the broadcast, they were saying, "Oh man, Anthony Gordon, what a great match, man of the match performance. Yeah, he's my player of the match." It was a lady. Next thing you know, second yellow, and he's walking down the tunnel. This game had everything. This had penalty decisions, referee mistakes, goals on two halves of different football. This was just pure Barclays from pillar to post. It was, for me, even the Bruno Guimaraes shot that hit off the post where he just whammed it. Like, great goals, silly managerial decisions, but both teams just going blow for blow, and Newcastle came up on top. But I say this to say this about this game. David Moyes, yeah, no, you gotta go. This for me, I was calling it El Sakiko, because both these managers are on tight ropes, and you can't be losing games like that. You can't be losing games like that. And if I'm a part of the West Ham ownership, I'm looking at him. You had Ings on the bench, and you're putting on Calvin Phillips for Michael Antonio, playing Bowen false nine against Newcastle. Their defense, you know, and the other thing, I didn't even talk about this. Newcastle were dropping like flies. Their man were getting injuries like it was like with C-19, like it was the virus again. Their man were dropping like, and even a couple of the players were like holding on there to the thighs and that. I ain't gonna lie to you, they may have a couple more injuries after the game, but yeah, man, they had everything: injuries, red cards, penalties, bad refereeing. Yeah, man, it was great. But Luke, you anything else to add?
I mean, this game is what Man City Arsenal game should have been.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Like and the wickedest thing is, Arsenal and City have got something to play for, which is the title. But them man were playing like they were safe from relegation. Whereas City and Newcastle and West Ham, obviously they've got European implications, but this match don't really settle anything because you still got eight more games anyway. But these men were playing like they were playing for top four. They were playing for the title. Like, I liked it. I like the game. I like the game. I like the passion. I like the football. I like how passionate the Newcastle fans was. They were loud because they smelt blood and they were going for it. Newcastle were going for it. West Ham, they were in cruise control. They were performing well. They were doing well. But the minute you're taking off one striker to then go defensive and play a CDM because you knew that Newcastle were up for the game and they were smelling blood, I hear that because again, you want to try be pragmatic and you want to try stop the opposition from scoring. But Calvin Phillips is not the player, and I feel sorry for him because I know he's getting all of this grief, but it's not his fault why he's performing the way that he's performing. Man City, Pep Guardiola killed man's career. And I hear that you're probably thinking, yeah, but he didn't need to go there. But ultimately, if no other club is going after you, and Man City, who's winning titles left, right, and centre, which is your dream to win a trophy, because at the end of your career, you want to sit back and see your catalogue collections of trophies. Of course, you're going to go to Man City. Are you going to play? Probably not. But you can't fault man for actually doing something that most players are gonna do because they want to win a trophy. Look at Harry Kane. He's left the league to try win a trophy, but he's not gonna win a trophy. And he's probably by far one of the greatest strikers in world football. But he's not even gonna win a trophy. And at the end of his career, he might not even win a trophy, which is a shame. So we can't fault Calvin Phillips for making that decision, but ultimately you can tell that he's not match fit. He's not match fit. He looks like he doesn't know how to play 11-a-side football anymore because he's just not match fit. He hasn't been playing those consistent games. So to ask somebody that's gone through a couple years of not playing to then actually come on the pitch as a sub, it's gonna be hard for him. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna be but he's gonna make those. He's gonna be making those decisions. Like so, for me, I feel sorry for the guy. I do. I just think he's been made a scapegoat, and he just needs to. Leeds is coming back up into the Prem. We know this. Just go back to Leeds.
Yeah.
Just go back to your boyhood club and try and get that form again because you're gonna receive the love from Leeds because that's your boyhood club, and so we know that you'll probably come good again and become the Calvin Phillips that we know you to be because it wasn't too long ago that United, Liverpool, Chelsea, City were after this guy. So you're not going to lose that ability overnight. So we know it's because he's off of form. He's not fit. So I think people need to lay off him a little bit. Yeah, it's bants because we're going on a buy and it's great. I like it. I like that. Oh, I like it. But like we do need to sympathize and lay off him because it isn't his fault. But ultimately, we should be getting onto David Moyes for making such a stupid decision. You got Danny Ings, who's a well-known killer. He's a predator in a box. He knows how to kill games off, and you didn't even bring him on. And when you did bring him on, it was like the last 5 minutes. What's man gonna do in that situation? Brennan Johnson, a right back, was playing left back. It's funny because Margie didn't even know what position he played. But when I said to my man's a right back, he was like, "What? Nah, David Boy just need to get sacked." How you playing my man in left wing? Like it's decisions like that, which is why West Ham fans are calling for your head. You was in cruise control. You was in a winning position, and because of those two subs, caused you to lose that game. Newcastle were dead and buried. They were making stupid mistakes. Even when they were in attacking positions, they didn't know what to do. But all it needed was that one swift mistake. And that was it. They smelt blood in the water, and every attack that Newcastle was doing was just building more and more confidence. And they smelt that blood, and they were ready to just attack any given moment. And that's what happened. And fair play to Newcastle because they were just relentless. They were relentless. And as I said, they smelt blood and they wanted the win at the end of the day. And they managed to get their win. So kudos to them. It's unfortunate about the injuries. They were dropping like flies. And in situations like that, if I was David Moyes, I probably would have kept Mikel Antonio on and put Danny Ings on to make it 4-4-2, two strikers, and put more pressure on their defense because their defense was dropping like flies. Livramento was gone off, Schaff was gone off, Fabian Schär was holding his hamstring, like that was an injury. Miguel Almiron had to come off. Like people were dropping like flies. So I probably go ultra attacking and see if I can slap them up even more. But again,
Yeah.
that's what happens. That happens when you got a manager like David Moyes that's pragmatic and that's just happy just settle with just a winning position. So yeah, man. As Margie said, this was a Saki Cole type of match, El Saka Cole type of match. Eddie Howe managed to get some sort of pressure off his back for the time being, but yeah, taxes is on David Moyes' head because you can't be ruining West Ham like this. Their team is too good. The players that they got is too good, and yeah, you can't win the Europa League or Conference League last season and then be in a position of where you're at now. It's a sackable offense. Let's be real.
It is. It was great. It was absolutely amazing to watch. That was the best game of the weekend. Now to a game that I didn't really watch, but I checked it out. I saw what happened. I saw some of the reactions to it. Man, were doing up 3 a.m. streams because of this.
Head lost, head gone.
Man said, "Dead dog, do you love me? Do you want me?" I have never seen a team in the position that they're in, that is Man United, take that many shots. I'm gonna lie, man. They take so many shots. They're like Meek Mill in a P Diddy party. That's how many shots they're taking. Apparently, there's audio. I said, "Pow." Because the fact of the matter is, this. It's not like it was against it's Brentford. They're like one of the worst teams in the league. They're fighting relegation, and these man had 31 shots on you. And the fact of the matter is, if Ivan Toney had his shooting boots on that day, it would have been 5-4-6. It could have been 6-7-0 that game. And the thing for me is, with Man United, is this isn't just a one-off event. This is every game. How many games have we seen where United have taken 25 to 35 shots from an opposition and then somehow got points away, or won the game 1-0, or did this? And it's not sustainable. It's not football. They don't have a style of play. Them man are playing the 4-0-6 or the 4-1-5. And that's their formation. You know, Kobe Maino versus the world. That's their midfield. That's what their midfield is. Their midfield is non-existent. Their attack is whack, and the defense is just being overrun. And the fact of the matter is, if it wasn't for the lack of shooting boots and Onana actually stepping up, because if it was Onana disaster class from the first half of the season, these games could have been racking up losses. They're a team that are playing like they should be in a relegation battle against other teams. And the thing is, I look at my team, but we have like some style of play. You know, you see some moments of brilliance. You don't see nothing from United. You don't see nothing from their attack. You don't see nothing. And the fact of the matter is, the only time they play or they care is when it's a big game. Against the Liverpool, they're showing up. They're showing out. In these type of games, they disappear. Where's the leadership? Where's the responsibility? Where's anything within this team? And for me, they get their goal in the end. Obviously, Mount scores, and you're thinking, "Oh, he's got the winner," but they can't even do that right. They couldn't even make the robbery right. Them man let them came back. Ivan Toney was skilling up man in the box. Man sent Martinez back to Argentina, and then passed it in, and then it was 1-1. And the fact of the matter is, you know what, Brentford, you deserve that draw, because if anything, you should have won that game. United are a disgrace of a team, of an organization at the moment, and for me, I don't understand anyone who can back Ten Hag, because for me, he's not playing a style of football. All the players he signed, he's benching them. You know how funny that is? That the players you brought in, that you said, "Yeah, no, I need him, and him." They man are on the bench. Amrabat, bench. Anthony, bench. Mason Mount only starting now, get his goal. Like, you brought in these players, you brought in this system, and there is no system. 4-4-0-6 formation, man. Two lines, 2-line formation. That's what they're doing, and they're getting duppied by every team, left, right, and center. But guess what? What's gonna happen on Thursday when we face them? We're gonna make them look like superstars, because that's what we do. We make every team that is bad look like superstars. But before that, Luke, talk about United and the game, because you were there for the show.
I was, and do you know what pisses me off about United is the fact that Liverpool didn't even beat these suckers. They didn't beat these suckers in the cup match, and this is what pisses me off, is the fact that we made this team, we didn't finish our dinner, and now we got them on Saturday or Sunday. I hope to God that Liverpool used that frustration and anger of being kicked out of the FA Cup. I hope you take this seriously and put these men in a spliff-only package and send this manager packing. And once and for all, because this is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. How on earth are you not successful in a smash and grab victory? How do you fail a smash and grab? How? That's how you know, yeah, that
Uh,
God was on Brentford's side. This is Ramadan month. It's Ramadan month, and you man tried to be haram. You man tried to be haram, but you weren't successful. But Brentford managed to get that point, and I'm glad they did because they butchered you, man. They turn you, man, over time and time again. Counter attack after counter attack. It was a bodying, absolute bodying. How do you go into every single match facing 30 shots against you? When do we ever associate that with Manchester United? It was even a rare occurrence that Man United under Fergie even got 10 shots against them. People barely even managed to get 5 shots against them. But now it's open season, brothel season like this is Game of Thrones. These men were getting sucked and pammed every turn. Every turn. It's a disgrace. I'm embarrassed whenever I watch Manchester United. And at the end of the day, we can blame Ten Hag, but ultimately, these players are the ones that's been there for at least 5 to 10 years under different managers. When can we stop blaming managers? When can we start blaming these players? These players don't want to play for any of the managers that's coming in. They don't. So let's get rid of these players first before we get rid of the manager. Ultimately, the system's not working and the manager isn't working currently. But you can't go from playing one of the best tiki-taka sides at Ajax to then coming into the Premier League and not know what you're doing. As I said, it doesn't happen overnight. He doesn't believe in these players. He's lost confidence in himself. Hell, he's probably lost confidence in his philosophy because the players aren't buying into it. So let's just get rid of these players first before we get rid of the manager. Because it's just rinse and repeat. Louis van Gaal, David Moyes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Ragnick, Eric Ten Hag. The list goes on. But the players are still there. Get rid of the players. They don't want to play for Manchester United. They don't want to play for the badge. And it's evident with that match. It was shocking. Harambe football at its finest. You got man them at 3 a.m. Wake him neighbours up. Head loss gone. Oh, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm
uh,
done. I'm done. They're just an embarrassment, and I'm just tired. And you know, and even more so, I'm even more tired because they're in the position that they're in the table, and they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. They're just the most lucky, jammy team I've ever seen in my life. Because what's gonna happen? They probably will beat Chelsea. They probably will. That's how jammy they are. They'll probably beat them, probably get a draw with Liverpool, and then they'll probably lose against Sheffield United the next game. That's how jammy they are,
yeah,
and they're always in the position that they're in, and I don't get it. You got other teams better than them, and they're still there. Tired of United, man. But
yeah,
they do bring great bants with Saeed though, so you know keep losing, man, because I like watching his vids.
yeah, and the way Villa and Spurs are going, they may even get to fourth.
Literally,
They may even get fourth, just
it's
cause.
so jammy.
But we will see. We will see. What a great episode! This has been the Hold That show. But we take this moment to say hold that to Chelsea for drawing the 10-man Burnley. Hold that to West Ham and David Moyes. Hold that to Calvin Phillips. Bow. uh, hold that to Luton. Hold that to Wolves. Hold that to Brighton. And Deserby. Deserby didn't win this time. Hold that to City and Arsenal because, you know, that was disastrous football. And hold that to Gareth Southgate because you know what? You the international Borefest was so boring. You brought it to the Premier League with that City Arsenal game. You were there. You were around. Your spirit was there. That's what happened. But
Mm.
another week of football. Midweek fixtures this week. I think we've got midweek fixtures and then weekend fixtures, so it's going to be a lot to talk about next week. Um, we will have an episode next week, but it might be a bit different. It might be a different scenery for me, but it'll be a great episode just like this one. And that's been the Whole That Show live. I'm your host Abdelayini. It's been Liquidonis, and we out. Peace.
Peace. Wow.
Anybody but us now. Bow.